5 dangerous mistakes to avoid after 70 and what to do instead. Have you ever watched a single habit quietly chip away at everything you've built after 70? As the decades roll by, we collect wisdom and stories, but staying vibrant, connected, and respected can become trickier. The honest truth, after 70, several behaviors that once felt minor suddenly carry much bigger risks, and most people don't even realize they're doing them. They think they're being strong, independent, or simply sticking to what works. But in reality, a few small patterns can erode your life physically, mentally, and emotionally. In this video, we'll walk through 5 specific mistakes you should avoid after 70. These aren't about scolding or making you feel bad. They're about awareness, protecting your energy, your health, and your happiness as you age. If you've ever caught yourself thinking, "It's too late to change," or "I've always done it this way," I want you to pause. This video might just change your mind, and more importantly, it might change your life. 1. Isolate yourself from others. There's a quiet danger that begins to creep in when you start turning down invitations, dodging calls, or telling yourself, "I'm fine on my own." While independence is often seen as a strength, and it certainly is, when independence slips into isolation, it becomes a hidden risk, especially after 70. Many older adults fall into the trap of thinking that withdrawing is natural or even noble as they age. But this couldn't be further from the truth. The reason is simple: human beings are social creatures. We don't just thrive on connection, we need it to stay mentally, emotionally, and physically well. Countless studies have shown that chronic loneliness can be as damaging as smoking or obesity. It increases the risk of heart disease, depression, cognitive decline, and even early death. And yet, too many seniors downplay its effects, telling themselves they're just giving people space or don't want to be a burden. Let's dig a little deeper into why this happens. After 70, life changes. Friends pass away. Kids get busy. Physical health might limit your ability to get out. And sometimes, after experiencing loss or disappointment, it feels safer to retreat. There's less drama, less rejection, less energy spent. But with that comes less joy, less connection, and less meaning. You start to miss out on the very things that make life rich: shared laughter, warm hugs, unexpected conversations, or sitting quietly with someone who sees you. Take Harold, for example, a 76-year-old who used to be a lively member of his church group. After his wife passed away, he gradually stopped showing up. He told himself it was just temporary, that he was grieving and didn't want to bring others down. But months turned into years. He stopped getting calls. People assumed he wanted to be left alone. The truth: he was aching for someone to notice, but he didn't know how to rejoin the world. If any of this sounds familiar, it's time to shift the narrative. Connection doesn't have to mean constant socializing or being surrounded by people 24/7. It can be as simple as calling a friend once a week, joining a small community group, volunteering once a month, or even chatting with neighbors. It's about reminding yourself that your presence matters. That even if the world feels fast and loud, there are spaces where you still belong. Staying connected isn't just about staving off loneliness. It's about staying alive, truly alive, with purpose, love, and belonging. So if you've been pulling away lately, ask yourself gently, is this serving me, or is it just protecting me from something I actually need? You might be surprised by what the answer reveals. 2. Skip preventive health checkups. One of the most common mistakes people make after 70 is assuming that if they feel fine, there's no reason to see the doctor. They wait until something hurts or until they're forced into the clinic by a crisis. But here's the reality. Many of the most dangerous conditions that affect older adults, like high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, certain cancers, or even memory disorders, begin quietly. They develop in silence, with no pain and no obvious warning. By the time symptoms show up, the damage is often already underway. It's understandable why many avoid these visits. Maybe they're tired of hearing bad news. Maybe they've had poor experiences with the medical system. Or maybe it just feels like too much hassle. But the truth is, preventive checkups aren't about finding problems. They're about catching opportunities to adjust early, to stop something small from becoming something irreversible. To stay ahead of the curve instead of constantly playing catch-up with your health. Take the story of Judy, a 74-year-old widow who hadn't seen a doctor in nearly 7 years. She felt fine, walked daily, and ate well. During a church health screening, she reluctantly agreed to get her blood pressure checked. It turned out dangerously high. Left untreated, it could have led to a stroke. Thanks to that simple check, Judy got on medication early and adjusted her diet. Today, she still walks every morning, but now she does it knowing she's not a ticking time bomb. Your body at 70 isn't the same as it was at 30 or 50. It needs a different kind of attention, less about fixing what's broken and more about monitoring what might break. Think of preventive care like regular maintenance on a classic car. You don't wait for the engine to seize before checking the oil. You don't ignore strange sounds just because the car still runs. You check in not because something's wrong, but because you value the ride. And remember, most preventive checkups are relatively simple. Blood work, blood pressure, cancer screenings, vision and hearing tests, maybe a memory assessment. These aren't lifelong commitments, they're moments of awareness that can change everything. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. And now let's move forward. 3. Bottle up your emotions. Another mistake that becomes especially dangerous after 70 is holding everything inside. Many older adults grew up in a generation where emotional restraint was seen as strength. You didn't talk about your feelings, you got on with life. Pain was kept quiet. Anger was buried. Grief was hidden. But bottling up emotions doesn't make them go away. It just traps them deeper where they quietly wear you down. By the time we reach our 70s, we've experienced a lifetime of highs and lows, losses, betrayals, regrets, love, victories. And with age comes the false belief that it's too late to process those emotions or that talking about them is a burden to others. But emotional well-being doesn't retire. In fact, after 70, your emotional health plays a bigger role than ever in determining your quality of life. Suppressed emotions don't just affect your mood, they show up in your body. Stress that isn't expressed can lead to high blood pressure. Long-term sadness can weaken your immune system. Unspoken resentment can quietly fuel chronic inflammation. The body keeps the score even when the mind tries to forget. Over time, that emotional weight can steal your energy, your motivation, and even your relationships. From a psychological perspective, we often avoid expressing emotions because we fear vulnerability. We don't want to appear weak, needy, or overly dramatic. But vulnerability, especially in later life, is actually a mark of strength. It's an act of courage to say, "That still hurts," or "I miss her every day," or "I wish I had done that differently." These admissions don't make you fragile, they make you real. And real connection always starts with honesty. Consider the story of Ron, a 78-year-old veteran who rarely talked about his experiences. For years, he brushed off his nightmares, his flashbacks, his moments of deep sadness. It wasn't until a neighbor invited him to a local support group that he even realized how much he'd been holding inside. He said that first conversation was like letting the air out of a balloon that had been ready to pop. Today, Ron still carries his past, but it no longer controls him. Whether it's grief over a lost spouse, guilt over mistakes made long ago, or simply the quiet loneliness that sneaks in as friends and routines change, these emotions need room to breathe. You don't have to become a therapist's best friend, but having even one person you can talk to without judgment can change everything. If that person is a counselor, a friend, a pastor, or even a journal, that's enough. Because the truth is, when we name our emotions, we disarm them. When we give our feelings words, we take back control. And in doing so, we free ourselves to feel joy, connection, and peace again. Not just survive, but truly live in the years we still have. 4. Neglect your strength and balance. Neglecting your strength and balance after 70 isn't just a bad idea. It's one of the riskiest things you can do. It might not seem like a big deal to skip some stretches or sit a bit longer than usual, but that quiet decision to do less physically can quickly turn into something much more serious. A fall, a fracture, or a permanent decline in mobility. After 70, the difference between someone who stays active and someone who doesn't often comes down to independence or losing it. Here's the problem. Our muscles naturally weaken with age, especially if we don't use them regularly. It's called sarcopenia. And while the word may sound technical, what it really means is that your legs get weaker. Your posture starts to stoop, and things like getting out of a chair or climbing stairs become harder. Before you know it, you're avoiding certain tasks, needing help more often, and feeling less confident with each step. Balance works the same way. The systems that help us stay upright, our eyes, our inner ears, and our muscles, all become less efficient with age. If you don't challenge your balance regularly, you lose the reflexes and strength that protect you from falling. And falls are no joke. They're the leading cause of injury and hospitalization for older adults. Even a short stumble can lead to a broken hip and months of painful recovery. Some never fully recover at all. But it doesn't have to be this way. There's a myth that physical decline is inevitable. And while some changes do come with age, much of it is preventable or at least manageable with just a few small, consistent habits. Regular strength exercises like leg lifts, sit-to-stands, or gentle resistance band work can dramatically preserve muscle. Balance movements like standing on one foot while brushing your teeth or doing heel-to-toe walks along the kitchen counter keep your body alert and stable. The psychology behind this mistake often comes down to mindset. Many seniors internalize the belief that they're too old to start exercising. But that belief does far more harm than good. Exercise doesn't mean running marathons. It means moving your body in ways that keep your joints lubricated, your muscles working, and your heart pumping. And it's never too late to begin. In fact, seniors who begin strength and balance routines in their 70s often report better energy, sleep, mood, and even sharper thinking. Let me share a story. Marlene, 82, was starting to feel unsteady walking from her kitchen to her living room. She brushed it off thinking, well, I'm getting older. That's just how it is. But one day, she tripped on a rug and fractured her wrist. After recovering, she joined a senior fitness group at her local community center. Within 2 months of simple strength and balance exercises, she noticed she was walking taller, steadier, and even sleeping better. She told me she felt 10 years younger and a lot more in control. So take a moment to assess yourself. Do you feel confident in your steps? Are you regularly standing up and sitting down without using your arms? Can you balance on one foot for at least 10 seconds? If not, that's not a sign of failure. It's a signal to start. Because every day you avoid strengthening your muscles or practicing your balance is another day your body quietly weakens in ways you might not notice until it's too late. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. And now let's move forward. 5. Pretend you're fine when you're not. You might feel pain in your chest, notice sudden confusion, or realize your memory isn't what it used to be. But instead of speaking up, you wave it off. I'm just tired, or it's nothing, or I'll be fine. Sound familiar? This tendency to stay silent doesn't come from weakness. But the truth is, pretending you're fine when you're not can cost you your health, your independence, even your life. Many seniors grew up in a time when you didn't talk much about your problems. You didn't want to seem nutty. You didn't want to worry your children. But the body after 70 is different. A dull ache, a small change in balance, a little shortness of breath, these are not things to ignore. And timing matters. That moment of dizziness might be the first sign of a blood pressure problem. And forgetting where you put your keys again and again might be more than just aging. It could be the early stages of cognitive decline. When caught early, many of these conditions can be managed, slowed, or even reversed. But if you act like nothing's wrong, you don't give your doctors or yourself the chance to fight back. This habit of silence often ties into our identity. It's in facing it. It's wisdom. It's self-preservation. And it gives the people who care about you the chance to support you in the ways you actually need. Take George, 79, for example. It wasn't until his daughter insisted he get checked that doctors discovered his heart was under serious strain. He needed immediate intervention. So what's the takeaway? Start listening to your body like you'd listen to someone you love. Pay attention to new pain, fatigue, mood changes, or anything that feels off. Don't wait until it gets worse. Because when you speak up, you're not just protecting your health. This might be the fifth and final mistake we're covering. But in many ways, it's the most important because every other point mindset, relationships, finances, fitness depends on you being healthy enough to take action. The final thoughts. What we've covered today might seem simple on the surface, but each of these 5 points reveals something much deeper about how we approach life after 70. It's about becoming more intentional, more aware, and more protective of your times, your energy, and your well-being. Maybe you realized you've been holding on to past regrets, letting them quietly pull at your confidence. Maybe you've been brushing off little health concerns, thinking they're not worth mentioning. Or maybe you've just been going through the motions, not reaching out to old friends, not trying something new, not speaking up when you need help. The biggest trap many seniors fall into is believing that their best decisions are behind them. But what if the wisest, kindest, and most powerful decisions you'll ever make are the ones you still have time to choose now? Like choosing to take care of your health instead of ignoring discomfort. These are small choices, but they have enormous impact, not just on you, but on the people who love you. Here's the truth. You are still writing your story. You can learn new things. You can change your mind. You can say no to foolish habits and yes to something better. It just asks that you keep showing up with honesty, with hope, and with a willingness to grow. It's not about pretending to know everything. It's about staying curious, staying open, and staying brave enough to change what needs changing. So today, I challenge you. Pick just one of the 5 points we talked about and ask yourself, how does this show up in my life? Let them inform you, guide you, even humble you, but never stop you. Mom, thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you.